Welcome everyone to English Weaver, where we learn English through story. Today we embark on an exciting journey into the life of William Shakespeare, the man behind timeless dramas. Before we begin, don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss our captivating tales. Imagine a world of candlelit stages in late 16th century England, alive with music, laughter, and whispers of ambition. Shakespeare rose from humble roots to become a name that still echoes through theaters today, inspiring countless dreamers across the globe. Who was this enigmatic playwright who penned tragedies that chilled the blood and comedies that lifted spirits? His quill-shaped characters so vivid they breathe on stages centuries later, each word a bridge between his heart and ours, each line alive with emotion. Picture the young bard, pen trembling in hand, as he crafted his first scenes, unsure of his own genius. Yet his spirit blazed with curiosity and passion, drawing him toward bustling London, where he would test his talent against the best actors and poets. From small-town obscurity to the roaring crowds at the Globe Theatre, Shakespeare's ascent fascinates us still. How did a man of modest beginnings forge alliances, navigate royal courts, and earn the patronage that propelled him onto the world stage? His life brims with mystery. Was he daring or cautious, confident or plagued by doubt? Behind every celebrated play lies a story of late nights, torn drafts, and fierce debates. The genius we admire emerged through trials and whispered secrets. Tonight, we will unravel this mystery. We'll sense the heartbeat of Stratford-upon-Avon where he grew up. We'll feel the thrill of his first standing ovations. We'll glimpse the turning points that shaped a poet whose words still guide our souls. This tale is more than a biography. It's a lesson in perseverance, creativity, and the power of language. As we step into Shakespeare's world, prepare to be moved, challenged, and inspired by the twists of his remarkable journey. So settle in, dear viewers, and let the candlelight flicker as we open the pages of history. The stage is set, the audience awaits, and the spotlight shines on a man destined to become a legend. Are you ready to explore the secrets of Shakespeare's early days, to feel the pulse of his passion, and to discover why his legacy endures? Let's begin this unforgettable adventure into the life of William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare entered the world in April 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon, a quiet market town in Warwickshire. His father, John, was a glove maker and town official, his mother, Mary, from a well-to-do family. Young William grew up amid rural charm. The boy's home stood near the Avon River, its gentle currents shaping his earliest memories. He and his 3 brothers and sisters roamed meadows, catching frogs and blackberries. Nature's rhythms and village rhythms filled his heart with wonder and curiosity. At age 7, William likely began grammar school in Stratford, a place of strict routine and classical learning. He memorized Latin grammar, recited fables of Aesop, and read tales of Roman heroes. These studies laid the foundation for his rich language skills. Stratford's schoolhouse was a simple building of timber and brick, with long benches and a slate for writing. Scholars sat in rows, copying lines from Cicero and Virgil. Though discipline was harsh, Shakespeare's quick mind thrived on these ancient stories. Beyond academics, William absorbed local legends told by farmers and tradesmen. Tales of Robin Hood's daring, ghostly spirits haunting Tudor castles and folk songs echoing in taverns sparked his creative spark, weaving images of magic into his imagination. His parents valued hard work and faith. Mary taught him prayers and hymns by candlelight each evening. John, busy at his gloves, still made time to share news from London, where new fashions and ideas reached the court of Queen Elizabeth. In church services at Holy Trinity, young William listened to sermons and sang hymns in Latin. The grandeur of stained glass windows and carved stone arches stirred a sense of awe, planting seeds for the poetic power he would later unleash on stage. Stratford's fairs brought traveling performers, acrobats, and minstrels. William watched with wide eyes as jugglers tossed knives and players recited verses. These bursts of spectacle showed him a world beyond his village, alive with drama. Though his family faced hard seasons, crop failures, and town politics, William observed resilience in their daily lives. He saw neighbors share grain in lean times, and he learned that human kindness and perseverance go hand in hand. Books were rare in the household, but Shakespeare borrowed primers and psalters from the church. He pored over moral tales and psalms, discovering the power of words to comfort, to warn, and to inspire deep feeling. His mother's stories of her own childhood in nearby landowners' households added a second layer of narrative. Mary had served in bigger homes, learned to read, and listened to refined speech, all of which broadened William's view beyond rural life. William's playfulness shone through local pageants, where children reenacted biblical scenes and legend. He wrote simple verses for these performances, delighting friends and kin, already practicing the craft of storytelling in modest form. By age 14, he could translate lines from Ovid's Metamorphoses into English, a feat few villagers attempted. His teachers noted his exceptional gift for language, predicting that the boy might leave Stratford behind for a larger stage. At home, he helped his father in the glove workshop, measuring hides and stitching seams. The rhythmic work taught patience, attention to detail, and the satisfaction of creating something useful, qualities that persevered in his writing. Yet William felt the pull of London's promise. He read travelers' reports of the royal court, of theaters like the Theatre or Curtain, and legendary actors earning royal favor. His heart stirred with ambition to join their ranks. In quiet moments by the river, he composed tiny poems in his head, capturing the flight of swallows or the pattern of ripples on water. These early exercises, unseen by any but himself, marked the birth of a poet's soul. Friends recall William as a polite youth, quick with a joke and respectful of elders. He listened more than he spoke, gathering snippets of conversation to store in memory, like a squirrel hiding acorns for winter. Around age 18, changes swept through his family. One sibling fell ill, another left home. Responsibilities increased, yet William balanced chores with secret essays of verse on scraps of paper hidden in his room. Stratford's countryside taught him of life's cycles, the sowing and the harvest, birth and death, joy and suffering. Nature's lessons shaped the themes that later filled his plays: the fleeting bloom of youth, the weight of loss, the promise of renewal. By the end of his teens, Shakespeare's mind had absorbed Tudor England's spoken rhythms, classical echoes, and rural voices. He stood poised at a crossroads, ready to leave the world he knew and step into the bright, uncertain glow of London's stages. In these formative years, the seeds of genius took root in humble soil. William Shakespeare carried with him family values, academic rigor, folk wisdom, and a budding creative fire, all of which would fuel his future triumphs. By the mid-1580s, Shakespeare ventured to London, drawn by the city's vibrant theater scene. He began as an actor and playwright's assistant, absorbing every nuance of performance. His early days served as a crucible, forging skills that would soon captivate royal courts and commoners alike. He joined the Lord Chamberlain's men around 1594, a leading company that performed at the theater and later at the Globe. As both actor and writer, he gained first-hand insight into audience reactions, refining his comedic timing and tragic nuance to create deeply resonant dramas. Shakespeare's first published works included the 3 Henry Thix plays and the brutal Titus Andronicus. Though critics then debated his style, audiences flocked to witness dynastic battles and vivid gore. These early successes proved his flair for blending history with human conflict. By 1597, Shakespeare had acquired a share in the Globe Theatre, securing financial stability and creative freedom. The wooden O on London's South Bank stood as both his workplace and experiment, where he tested new staging ideas and transformed blank verse into electrifying dialogue. His collaboration with fellow playwrights like Christopher Marlowe and Thomas Kyd sharpened his craft. Together, They exchanged ideas on classical sources and theatrical effects. Shakespeare absorbed their innovations, blending them with folk tales and historical chronicles to invent a new dramatic language. In 1599, Macbeth debuted, exploring ambition's dark grip. King James I admired its themes, granting Shakespeare's company royal patronage as the king's men. This honor elevated his status, opening doors to court performances and ensuring his livelihood for years to come. Between 1600 and 1603, Shakespeare penned mighty tragedies: Hamlet's meditation on life and death, Othello's study of jealousy, King Lear's portrait of familial betrayal. Each play challenged audiences, pushing boundaries of character psychology and poetic expression on the Jacobean stage. Concurrently, he crafted witty comedies like A Midsummer Night's Dream and Much Ado About Nothing. These works shimmer with playful wordplay, romantic entanglements, and magical mischief. Their joyous tone contrasted his darker pieces, showcasing his versatile command of genre. In 1604, he completed his narrative poem, The Rape of Lucrece, and followed with Venus and Adonis. Both became bestsellers, demonstrating his mastery of poetic imagery. Patrons coveted these slender volumes, whose lush language transported readers into mythic realms. Shakespeare's skill extended to court masques, lavish entertainments blending music, dance, and allegory. He wrote for noble households, designing spectacles that honored patron virtues. These pageants polished his sense of spectacle, enriching his later plays with grand stagecraft. As a savvy businessman, he reinvested earnings into property back in Stratford. He purchased New Place in 1597, a fine manor symbolizing his rise from provincial youth to prosperous playwright. His investments secured his family's comfort and cemented his status among local gentry. In 1608, Shakespeare collaborated on two history plays, Henry VIII and The Two Noble Kinsmen. Though he co-authored, his distinctive voice still emerged in soaring speeches and poignant moments, illustrating his adaptability and generosity in sharing creative duties. Throughout his career, he mentored younger writers like John Fletcher, passing on the rhythms of his verse. His influence reshaped English drama, inspiring a wave of imitators who echoed his innovations in character and plot, from tragic heroes to boisterous clowns. In 1610, Shakespeare retired to Stratford but remained creatively active, revising plays and preparing a lasting legacy. His final works, Cymbeline and The Tempest, shimmer with enchantment and reconciliation, blending his lifelong fascination with magic, forgiveness, and imaginative renewal. His most enduring achievement arrived posthumously, the First Folio of 1623. Compiled by fellow actors John Heminges and Henry Condell, it preserved 36 plays in print for posterity. Without this volume, many masterpieces might have been lost to time forever. The folio's publication marked a milestone, establishing Shakespeare as the definitive voice of English drama. Its texts shaped every subsequent stage production and literary study, ensuring his plays would continue to inspire actors, poets, and scholars for centuries. Beyond the stage, his sonnets, 154 in total, explored love, time, and mortality with piercing introspection. Their intimate tone and inventive metaphors broadened the scope of English poetry, influencing generations of writers who sought to emulate his emotional depth. Royal and noble audiences praised his verse. Ordinary Londoners filled galleries to hear his lines. His power to cross social divides stemmed from universal truths embodied in his characters, whether a grieving king or a mischievous sprite, each speaking from the heart. His command of language introduced over 1,000 words and countless phrases into common use. Expressions like heart of gold, break the ice, and wild goose chase trace back to his quill, illustrating how deeply his creativity shaped everyday speech. Throughout Europe, translations of his plays circulated by the mid-17th century. French, German, and Spanish theaters adapted his works, integrating local traditions and expanding his reach. he became not just an English institution, but a global cultural phenomenon. Academic interest blossomed in the 18th and 19th centuries, as scholars debated authorship, chronology, and meaning. His texts fueled literary criticism, new editions, and hundreds of biographies, each generation rediscovering his genius anew and debating his intentions. Modern directors reinvent his plays with innovative settings, from futuristic cities to wartime landscapes, underscoring their timeless relevance. His exploration of power, identity, and love continues to resonate, proving that his artistic vision transcends era and geography. Today, thousands of performances celebrate his work annually. Shakespeare festivals from Oregon to Shanghai bring communities together, honoring his gifts and exploring the human condition through verse and action. His legacy pulses in every applause. In film and television, his plays find fresh life. From Olivier's Hamlet to Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet, each adaptation reinterprets his stories, introducing new audiences to his poetic genius and reaffirming his role as the heartbeat of dramatic art. William Shakespeare's career stands as a testament to the power of words to transform society and individual souls. His journey from provincial grammar school to global legend reminds us that creativity, perseverance, and deep empathy can change the world. As we reflect on his achievements, we see a man who blended artistry with entrepreneurship, passion with discipline. His works remain living documents, inviting each of us to step onto the stage and find our own voice amid his immortal lines. As Shakespeare's fame grew, challenges shadowed his triumphs. In 1592, playwright Robert Greene dismissed him as an upstart crow, questioning his pedigree and talent. These harsh words stung the young writer, igniting self-doubt amid soaring ambition. London's theaters often closed during plague outbreaks. In 1603, plague swept through the city, forcing Shakespeare's company to suspend performances for months. With no ticket sales, the Globe fell silent, leaving him anxious about income and artistic momentum. The death of his son Hamnet in 1596 plunged Shakespeare into deep grief. Losing a child awakened sorrow that haunted him as he penned darker plays. In quiet moments, he wrestled with loss, channeling pain into characters tormented by mortality and despair. Censorship loomed large under the master of revels, who banned plays deemed seditious or irreverent. Shakespeare revised scenes, altered lines, and sometimes cut entire passages to appease authorities, sacrificing creative vision to protect his company and reputation. Competing playwrights like Ben Jonson sparred with Shakespeare over poetic form and theatrical innovation. Though they admired his skill, Jonson's rigorous classical ideals clashed with Shakespeare's fluid storytelling, prompting heated debates about art's highest purpose. Financial disputes tested his business acumen. Partnership disagreements over ticket profits and publishing rights occasionally erupted within the King's Men. Shakespeare navigated these tensions with tact, but each quarrel threatened the unity that fueled his creative output. Rumors circulated that he borrowed too heavily from historical chronicles and earlier poems. Critics accused him of lacking originality, though fellow actors defended his genius. These whispers forced Shakespeare to refine sources and ensure fresh twists in each new play. The absence of a university education left him vulnerable to scholarly critique. Some academics dismissed his vivid characters as lacking classical polish. To counter this, Shakespeare incorporated Latin quotes and allusions, proving his deep mastery of classical texts. Creative burnout haunted him after writing several major plays in rapid succession. His health suffered under relentless deadlines. He battled headaches and fatigue, scribbling revisions by candlelight well after midnight, determined that no weary moment would dull his pen. When the Globe burned down in 1613 during Henry VIII, Shakespeare watched embers destroy his beloved stage. The blaze shook him. Years of dreams seemed consumed. Yet he rallied colleagues, oversaw rebuilding efforts, and refused to let tragedy extinguish his theatrical home. Personal losses extended beyond Hamlet. His mother's death in 1608 shook him deeply. Grief crept into his poetry, blending sorrow with gratitude for fleeting joys. He wrote private letters recalling her laughter, a practice that both comforted and reminded him of life's fragility. Shakespeare's marriage to Anne Hathaway faced rumors of strain. Long absences in London fueled gossip about neglect. Critics speculated on the state of his home life. Yet letters hint at tender reunions in Stratford, suggesting love endured despite distance and duty. Political tensions under King James sometimes imperiled his work. Plays touching on royal succession demanded careful phrasing. Shakespeare mastered subtle flattery, weaving praise into dialogue to avoid misinterpretation and secure patronage rather than provoke royal ire. Amid these trials, he suffered creative disagreements with collaborators. Some plays saw scenes reworked multiple times before all parties agreed. Each revision sparked fresh debate over plot choices, demanding patience and diplomacy to preserve both art and alliance. The ever-present fear of obscurity dogged him as he matured. Younger playwrights emerged with fresh voices. Shakespeare worried that his style would grow outdated. To stay relevant, he experimented with new genres, mixing tragic, comic, and historical elements in surprising ways. Critics accused his late romances of sentimentality and improbability. Plays like The Tempest divided audiences, some praising magic, others decrying whimsy. These mixed reviews stung him, but he defended the power of wonder to heal wounds and unite hearts. Legal disputes over publishing rights brought unwelcome stress. Publishers printed quartos without his consent, skewing text and profiting unfairly. Shakespeare petitioned fellow actors to curb piracy, yet full control over his written legacy remained elusive. As he faced ennui in later years, Shakespeare questioned his purpose. Had he simply entertained, or could his words change lives? In reflective moments, he retreated to New Place's gardens, letting nature replenish his spirit and inspire fresh possibilities. The constant balancing of commercial success and artistic integrity weighed heavily on him. At times, he crafted popular history plays to fill demand, even while his heart yearned for deeper psychological exploration in tragedies yet unwritten. Yet through each setback, Shakespeare's resilience prevailed. He confronted criticism by sharpening his craft, turning adversity into raw material for character conflict and emotional depth that resonates to this day. His struggles remind us that even the greatest talents face doubt, disaster, and despair. Shakespeare transformed life's cruelties into profound art, teaching us that perseverance can alchemize pain into lasting beauty. As we contemplate his challenges, we see a man who faced plagues, loss, censorship, and rivalry, yet remained devoted to his art. His journey through hardship forged the timeless power of his stories. In the chapters ahead, we'll explore how triumph emerged from these trials and how Shakespeare's legacy turned challenge into triumph that still inspires us all. After weathering doubt and disaster, Shakespeare's star ascended brighter than ever. His tragedies and comedies found fresh life on London's boards and beyond. Audiences cheered his heroes, wept for his villains, and eagerly awaited each new release, hungry for his genius. Success came not only in applause, but in acclaim. Nobles invited him to perform at court, where Queen Elizabeth and later King James rewarded him with gold-lined robes and honorary status. These royal honors affirmed that his words resonated at all ranks of society. His plays sparked debates among scholars, sparking new fields of study. Critics dissected his use of meter, metaphor, and dramatic structure. Poetry readers marveled at his sonnets, seeing in them the essence of love and time, while theater-goers felt his insights in every scene. Shakespeare's influence rippled across Europe. Translations appeared in French salons and German courts, inspiring playwrights such as Racine and Goethe. Cities from Paris to Prague staged his dramas, showing how universal his explorations of power, betrayal, and redemption truly were. His legacy reshaped the English language itself. He coined words and phrases now woven into daily speech. Sleeping pain, in a pickle, and break the ice. His creativity opened the door for future writers to experiment boldly with vocabulary and expression. Playwrights after him embraced complex characters with inner conflicts. Hamlet's indecision, Lady Macbeth's ambition, and Prospero's remorse offered models for psychological depth. Actors savored these roles, relishing parts that challenged them to reveal raw human emotion. The First Folio's publication in 1623 cemented his works for posterity. Without this volume, nearly half his plays might have vanished. Compiled by loyal friends, it set the standard for textual accuracy and inspired later editors to preserve literary treasures for future generations. Stratford-upon-Avon transformed into a pilgrimage site. Fans toured his birthplace and grave, honoring him as a national treasure. Centuries later, his hometown hosts festivals, exhibitions, and scholarly conferences, ensuring that his spirit remains alive in every brick and cobblestone. His sonnets influenced poets from John Donne to Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Their explorations of unrequited love, time's ravages, and beauty's fleeting nature echoed his themes, extending his impact beyond drama into the very heart of poetic tradition. During the Enlightenment, actors like David Garrick revived his works with renewed passion. Garrick's Shakespeare Jubilee in 1769 celebrated his bicentenary, complete with pageantry and theatrical feats, illustrating how his fame only grew with each passing century. Romantic poets saw in Shakespeare a spirit aligned with their own. Wordsworth and Coleridge praised his imaginative power, citing his plays as proof that art could elevate the human soul. They built on his balance of reason and emotion in their own visionary verses. In the Victorian era, theater architecture and production techniques evolved to showcase his grand spectacles. Gas lamps and elaborate sets brought his stories to life like never before, while directors experimented with authenticity and psychological realism in acting. Across the Atlantic, American dramatists embraced his legacy. From 19th-century New York to modern off-Broadway stages, Shakespeare's works fueled a thriving culture of interpretation, adapting his stories to local concerns and diverse casting that defied traditional norms. His tales of love and loss inspired countless adaptations in opera, ballet, and film. Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet Overture, Prokofiev's ballets, and modern musicals drew directly from his plots and emotions, proving that his storytelling transcends form and medium. In the 20th century, scholars unearthed layers of meaning in his texts. New criticism focused on irony and paradox, while feminist readings highlighted the strength and agency of characters like Lady Macbeth and Viola, revealing fresh dimensions in familiar lines. Post-colonial interpretations examined power and identity in plays such as Othello, exploring race and otherness. Directors reimagined his works in African, Asian, and Latin American settings, demonstrating the adaptability and resonance of his themes across cultures. Today, digital technology brings his words to global audiences. Online performances and recorded readings make his plays accessible to anyone with an internet connection. Interactive apps and virtual reality tours of the globe immerse new generations in Shakespeare's world. His impact extends into education, where students study his texts to learn language, history, and human psychology. Classrooms worldwide analyze his themes of ambition, jealousy, and forgiveness, discovering in his plays lessons that apply to modern life and personal growth. Business leaders even cite his insights in leadership seminars, drawing parallels between Macbeth's fatal flaws and organizational pitfalls. His explorations of power and ethics informed discussions on governance, teamwork, and personal responsibility in corporate settings. Theaters named after him span continents: Stratford, Ontario, Shanghai, Conch Refinements, and Barbican Centre in London, all celebrating his memory. Annual festivals convene actors and scholars, fostering global communities devoted to keeping his spirit alive. But beyond grand events, Shakespeare's real legacy lives in individual hearts. A teenager discovering Romeo's passion, a couple moved by Desdemona's loyalty, a thinker inspired by Hamlet's soliloquy, each finds personal meaning that guides, heals, and challenges them. His work teaches empathy, showing us perspectives from kings to clowns. Through his characters' struggles, we learn to understand others' motives, fears, and joys. His stage becomes a mirror, reflecting our own humanity back at us with honesty and compassion. The lesson of his life is clear. Creativity married to perseverance can transcend time. He wrote amid fear, loss, and rivalry, yet never surrendered his voice. His example urges us to pursue our passions, to refine our craft, and to share our unique stories boldly. Every time a play begins and the curtain rises, Shakespeare's legacy breathes anew. His words still wield power to move crowds, provoke thought, and unite communities. In a world of change, his works remain a steadfast reminder of art's enduring force. As we honor his achievements, we see a journey from rural schoolhouse to global icon. His life and art remind us that struggles become stepping stones, that words carry weight, and that stories can shape the future as powerfully as any decree. In embracing Shakespeare's legacy, we embrace our own capacity for creativity and resilience. His story invites each of us to add our verse to the ongoing human epic, confident that our voices, too, may echo across centuries. What can we learn from the man who turned adversity into art, transforming his pain into universal beauty? Let us carry his example in our hearts and craft our own stories with passion, empathy, and unwavering courage. William Shakespeare began life in a small town, far from fame and fortune. He had no special title, no wealth, and no promises. But what he had was a voice, a pen, and a dream that refused to die. Through his words, he painted the human soul. He wrote of love, guilt, power, jealousy, laughter, and grief. He made kings cry and fools speak truth. His stage was the world, and all the people were players. Shakespeare didn't need a sword or crown to be powerful. His power was in his words. His lines have crossed oceans, survived wars, and lived through centuries. That is true legacy. Today, students, actors, teachers, and readers still speak his name with respect. His plays are still performed. His sonnets are still studied. His life still inspires those who want to create something beautiful. And what about you? Yes, you. Maybe you are learning English. Maybe it feels hard. But remember Shakespeare. He started with nothing, and his words changed the world. If you keep learning, keep practicing, and keep dreaming, your voice will also grow strong. Your words matter. Your story matters. You can speak English fluently. You can do more than you think. Use stories like this one to grow your vocabulary. Use them to improve your grammar, your pronunciation, and your confidence. Learn English through stories, because stories have power. English is more than just rules. It's a way to connect, to dream, to share who you are. So speak boldly, listen deeply, and write bravely, just like Shakespeare did. Maybe one day someone will tell your story too. And when they do, they'll say, "This person worked hard. This person never gave up. This person learned, just like Shakespeare." Thank you for being with us on this journey through Shakespeare's life. It's been a story full of lessons, heart, and hope. We hope you feel inspired, not just to learn English, but to keep going in your own story. Don't forget to re-watch this story to practice listening. Pause, repeat, and shadow the sentences. Each time, your English will grow stronger, little by little, day by day. If you enjoyed this English story, please like and subscribe to English Weaver. We bring you powerful stories each week to help you learn English naturally and emotionally. Now we want to hear from you. What can we learn from William Shakespeare? What part of his story inspired you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Your words matter. Your story matters. Keep learning, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. The world is waiting to hear from you. See you in the next story, only here on English Weaver, where we help you learn English through story.